Welcome everyone to this encounter where Vishy Anand takes on Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Vishy has the white pieces representing the Ganges Grandmasters and MVL with the black pieces for the Upgrad Mumba Masters. We have E4, E5, MVL not going for his favorite Sicilian. He goes for the Petrov, which is actually quite in favor right now amongst the top players. D6, and Vishy decides to bring his knight back. MVL now chops off the pawn, and Vishy had played d4 against Nepo in the same tournament, but he goes for bishop d3, the move which is getting popular day by day. Vishy castles, and MVL now just thinking for his move a bit and develops his bishop. The rook comes out to e1. Generally you want to defend this knight, but this has become a very typical pawn sacrifice here, where you give up material. Bishop e4, de4, you give up a pawn, but in return get the bishop pair as black. Look at this. This is a bishop. Here you can put your other bishop down this long diagonal, and it gives a lot of martial opening like feeling, like where black has two bishops, white is very solid, has a great pawn structure, but somehow is not able to create much play. That's the feeling you get. Vishy is sort of unperturbed. There are top level games which have happened in this line, so Vishy knows this. I think he's well prepared, and so is MVL. And the rook comes back, and MVL simply jumps in with his knight. He's also okay to trade pieces. That's because after knight takes knight, the pawn takes it back, and what happens now is that once Vishy moves this knight, the rook comes in and attacks this backward pawn on c2. So the knight comes to e4 and now the rook comes in, and it puts pressure down here. The bishops are well placed. It's not an easy position for white to play. Look, this is an artificial move. You have to play like f3. You're trying to improve it bit by bit. The queen moves up, the rooks are connected, and now the knight might be kicked away. Then the pawn might kick the bishop away as well. But Vishy is solid. He knows that he's done nothing wrong out of the opening. He shouldn't be worse here. Ooh, rook lift here. The rook can swing over to the king side, or you can double down and attack here. Brilliant play here by MVL. Now Vishy brings his queen here, and maybe he wants to defend it this way with his rook, and pawn push. So black is calling the shots for the time being. Vishy moves behind with his knight. He's saying that okay, I can't do much, but I have an extra pawn, and if you push your pawns a bit too much, then it will create weaknesses in the position, which I'll later on take advantage of. And now the threat is g5 and f4. So Vishy just moves his queen away from this nasty pin here. And now MVL thinking for his move, and he's played his pawn to h6. Vishy brings his queen out to b4, and maybe some point if the bishop moves away, the rook can infiltrate down here. MVL stops these ideas with rook to c5, and now his plan is to play g5. By the way, notice that you could never take this pawn, because if you did, there was a check and you would lose the rook. So here rook c5, rook e2 played, and now MVL attacks with his pawn to g5. Vishy brings his bishop into the center, and pawn pushes on. If you now move your knight away here, rook e8, and you lose the bishop, because then there's no rook that can come here. The bishop controls that square. So Vishy chops off the pawn on d4, and he tells MVL, you want to take my knight, I'll take your rook. In fact, this is the best variation, but instead MVL makes a mistake. He pushes his pawn down the board, and now Vishy gives a check. That is the most accurate move here. That is the correct move. And now after bishop comes in, c4. Amazing move here by Vishy. But MVL has his response prepared. Takes here. If you take back, there comes queen takes with a check. But again, Vishy finds a brilliant intermezzo. He defends his bishop and attacks the rook. Wow! And after rook here, he plays bishop f6, another brilliant move. Pawn takes, And now the rook comes in. Whoa, what a play by Vishy Anand. Queen comes up. MVL playing very fast, but Vishy has it all under control. Check first. King moves to the side. There's a deadly discovered check or not? Not really, because wherever you go, the queen might pick up this or the rook might take it. So Vishy first repeats, and he shows who's in control here by repeating twice, and MVL offers a draw, but Vishy just looks at him and he's like, what? Draw? Not really, my friend. This is completely winning for me. And he goes for bishop e7. There you have it. MVL puts his hand on his head. He had not seen that happening. Vishy does not accept the draw here. And after check, king moves to the side. This is completely lost now for MVL. He has to give up his queen. Rook takes rook. Vishy takes the queen. And now completely better position for Anand. Rook takes here. And although materially black can still fight on, it's not going to be easy at all. You have a rook and a bishop for a queen, but generally in such positions that's not enough. The bishop moves back, and now Vishy can slowly push him back. Firstly, he cuts the bishop off. The bishop moves away and brings his rook. Vishy knows that he can lose a few pawns here and there, but the black king is exposed and his queen and rook can actually checkmate him. Rook moves in, ready to trade it. MVL is like, no, I'm not trading, I'm taking here. Another pawn bites the dust, but Vishy chops off another pawn on h6. Fantastic. And now g5 is hanging. MVL takes the pawn on f3. He's connected both his rooks, but now Vishy takes the pawn on g5 with a check. The bishop has to come back, and he moves back. This is still some technical effort, and another pawn taken. Both sides picking up many pawns, but I think in the end it's the black pawn which is going to fall on h2, and white will be materially up. King comes up. Check here. King moves up further. No, this is going to be checkmate now. This king cannot survive the queen and the rook. Another check from the side. Vishy is hunting the king, the Madras tiger on the prowl. Rook f5. There's a small trick perhaps. If you play g4, then there's a perpetual that has to be taken care of. And so first Vishy gives a check. And now wherever the king goes, he's in trouble, because if king f7, there's queen e6. Bishop f6, there's g4. And so that's the reason why MVL resigned here. And Vishy Anand has managed to beat the Frenchman. What a game this was. And there you have it, Vishy analyzing with great animation there. He really enjoyed that game for sure. It was a sharp one, but he calculated like a beast. MVL thought it was a draw at some point, but Vishy had seen further, and it was a tremendous game played by the 53-year-old 5-time world champion Vishy Anand.